We always try to rep two groups throughout the whole year as it is. And we've been trying some different combinations on the O-line, especially the last couple of weeks. And now we're just having a space and even it out. We have to really plan it. Like, hey, we talk about each night how many reps this guy's going to have, how many reps this guy's going to have. There's each in a practice you probably have 150 plays, and each play is scripted and planned. And we just making sure the right guys are in at the right time so they get all the various looks. So we're just maybe a little more time into that than we normally do.
You guys have struggled in the first quarter in terms of producing points. Why do you think you guys have struggled? What are you working on?
Good question. Yeah, I wish that was already fixed. The first quarter in particular, you go in with whatever you think is your best stuff in the game plan. And part of that is also to see what a little bit what they're doing. You game plan something, they can come out something different, and you want to have plays that work versus everything. I think we all understand that. But at the end of the day, and not just the first quarter, it's different drives. We got to execute better. The Oklahoma game is a really good example. The first drive against those guys, we come out, penalty, we can't have that. But we still, despite that, I gave some credit to some of our. We drove the ball down the field, 80-yard, kick a field goal. With overcoming 6 penalties in a drive, that's very uncommon. And so, I guess to answer your question, we talk about the first couple of drives are planned. When I say planned, these are the plays you want to get called early. We talk about that. But then the next thing is that then you can still go to situational football, because it might be you plan the first 2 calls, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 11, or you plan the first 2 calls and you're down on the 2-yard line. And so you got to have plans for that as well. But we spend a lot of time doing that, and we got to just show better results.
How many times this season has a defense come out and done something different than you anticipated in the first quarter? We know that was true.
I think every game a defense will come out and give you something different. They'll give you some tweaks. They'll give you some blitzes. We're watching them on film all week, and they're watching us on all film. They want to do some things to take advantage of us, expose us, just as we do with them. But as far as dramatic changes, there's usually not a ton, because the thing is, when you make a lot of dramatic changes to affect someone else, you're also affecting what you do. And so you want to be good at what you do. And most of the defenses we play, all the defenses we play are pretty good at what they do. So they're not going to make dramatic changes, but they will do stuff if they think there's a weakness, or if they think there's a personnel advantage, where they think something, they saw a blitz the week before that fits into their package, you could get that.
Matt, what's your read on sort of the mental state of guys on the offensive side of the ball right now, where maybe you feel like you're close, but it hasn't happened, and it's frustrating?
Yeah. Good question. Where's the mindset with the players mentally, offensively? I was really impressed with the way our guys came out after a tough loss and practiced the last 2 days. Because it's easy to practice when things are going well. When you have a win, it just gives you more energy. Where you really find out about somebody, how mentally tough they are when things aren't going well, or you don't get the results that you wanted. How are you going to respond? And they came out, especially just on Monday, our practice, and the effort was, we're moving on. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. Northwestern's not, and neither is none of the rest of our opponents. And we're going to get better. And they really did that. It's easier said than done.
Samori's obviously been really good for you. On the pick they had, is there anything he could have done different with his route and
Yeah. It was tough leverage. So the last, he could have came a lot flatter. The guy was heavy inside, and he's got to protect the throw. And so just his initial stem, he should have came flatter.
Ramirez got a lot of run the last couple of weeks. Has there been some separation, you'd say, at RB1, sort of, or is that too early to call?
I think it's a little too early to call. We've been happy with what Ramirez done. I think he's definitely shown improvement, and he's gotten better. Tough to say if he's really separated himself from the other guys, but we are happy with his improvement. I think he's gotten better.
When you get down in the red zone, we talk a lot about the importance of finishing drives. This might seem like an obvious question, but what is it about the compressed field that makes things more difficult? Is it just things happen faster?
Sure. Yeah. When you get into the red zone, the defense has to defend less space. So kind of common sense, which as an offense, it kind of shrinks your playbook down a little bit too, because you can't do some of the same plays that can take advantage of space and spreading guys out and different things, and really threaten them downfield, so they don't have to get bars, so they can sit on routes more. They can put more guys in the box, and so it's something that that's not an excuse by no means, but that's the defense. It's a little bit of their advantage, but at the end of the day, we know that we spend a lot of time in preparing for red zone. We practice it every week, at least 2 days. We spend a whole night of game planning on the red zone. What plays? How's our package going to change? Because you have to specifically change once you get down there. But at the end of the day, we got to execute better.
What are the hallmarks of a team that is an offense that is really good down low?
Being able to run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball down there, because again, there's less room for passing. There's less room now. You can still throw the ball. It's a lot more challenging. So being able to run the ball, being physical, and those are the best teams usually that are inside the red zone, when they can run the ball consistently and very physical.
What have you been able to do on third down so far this year? You guys are good, 46.7% on third down conversion. Why do you think you guys have been good there?
Yeah, good question. That's a positive question. I like it. On third down, yeah. So first, third down's kind of like the red zone. We spend a ton of time on third down because defenses change. It depends on the percentages. The biggest thing on third down is getting third and manageable situations. Third and long or an extra long, your percentages of getting the first down aren't as good. It's a lot. It goes from all the way from 20% up to 70% if you're going like 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4. So first and second down, your play calling on that affects third down. If you can get into a manageable third down, and we always try to, stay ahead of the sticks. That's always a mindset. Like you get a second and long and say, what's going to get us to a third and what's going to get us third and medium. What's going to get us so that's part of it. Just a mindset in the play calling deal. Our quarterback has done a great job on third down, knowing where to go with the ball. And he's made some plays with his feet on third down too that extended drives. So I think it's a combination of that, getting some manageable ones. And we it was a big emphasis in the summertime because we needed to improve that statistic. That was a big emphasis in the summertime of what can we do better on third down.
Was your playbook shift at all when Logan came in, and how do you think he did?
I did good. He every time he's gotten in, he's came in and been poised. And the time against Buffalo, we threw the ball down the field, and against Fordham, he comes in, and 'cause that's not easy to be. You're not getting all. We give him a ton of reps, but you're still not getting all the reps. And then you come in cold and you're rolling, and he's been really good about that. So we feel that he can operate the whole system. He'll just get better with reps and reps and reps.
With the young receivers, Grimes, Neville, Hardy, how are they doing? And how do you in this day and age you keep guys engaged when it's not their turn yet?
Sure. First of all, the freshmen, they're doing great. They're doing a great job on scout team. I think you got to remind them on a daily basis what their value is, and how the way what they're doing for our defense on scout team is making them better. And it's a great chance to develop your skill set because you're competing against our 1s and 2s, and they got to understand their purpose down there. I think off the field, as we about the homesickness and the mental health, and just constant communication on, hey, how are you doing? What's going on outside of football? How are we doing? And then one thing I think that's really helped us is our culture. Our older guys have really taken our younger guys, not just at the receiver position, underneath their wing, and they're sensitive to it because they've been there before. And taking time to say, how are you doing? Hey, it's going to get better. The first year is the hardest year when you're not playing as much. And so, they all seem very well adjusted to me, and I've been happy with their attitudes.
Our defense is ahead right now. It feels like in the Big Ten, I think you have 7 defenses that are allowing 3 or fewer touchdowns a game, including Nebraska's. Based on what you've seen so far, do defenses seem a little bit tougher because maybe players have come back? They're starting to figure out some of these schemes. What do you feel like is going on with the strength of defenses?
Yeah, good question. Our defense is tougher. I think they're tough every year. I do think this. I think the Big Ten, every team in our league has a good defense. And they take a lot of pride in it. They do a good job recruiting. They've hired good coaches. It's very competitive. And so, you got to be on your game every week. There's not statistically, like you said, they're all in the top 20 or top 30 teams in the country, and most of the guys are in the Big Ten. So it's, you love the challenge of it, Not saying I wouldn't mind going against one in the bottom 10 every once in a while, but they're good, you know. And I think it goes down. There's a whole bunch of factors. Really good coaching, you know, getting good players, and then I also think something in the Big Ten. Just me learning in this conference, it's a very physical conference. You got to be able to run the ball, and I think when you're a physical football team and you practice stuff like that, running the ball, it makes your defense tougher, and vice versa. It should make your offense tougher, you know. And so it's kind of just the nature of the league.
Harder is it than the Pac-12? Now that you've been in both leagues for a little while.
Yeah, I think the Pac-12. Not to say there's not great defenses there. And I came from Washington, which every year had a good defense. You got Utah. I think the Pac-12. I think probably the run-pass percentage is a little different. I think teams are maybe a little more spread formations. Where here you see a little more heavy sets, 12 personnel. I'm just guessing off the top of my head, the run-pass is probably a little more heavier run, because that's the other thing is you know, one of the things that we got to get better, a whole bunch of things, but one of the things, you know, we've been able to hold on to the ball a little bit. And sometimes when you can hold on to the ball a little bit as an offense, that really helps your defense. It can be your best defense because they're off the field, so their team can't score. And I think there's a lot of teams in this league that can carry on extended drives, and that's playing defense. You know, we're in the Pac-12. There's big plays, which not against big plays, but it just seemed like just a little more maybe pass run as opposed to the Big 12 or Big 10, which is the more you run the ball, the more physical your defense is.